Hello Targar friends. Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for another Orc Mode workout. And today was max effort upper day, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below. It would be greatly appreciated, so reach down there and do that. Thank you so much. So today we maxed on the floor press with a normal grip, which again I just started doing again. In fact, I think this is the first time, maybe the first time I've tried to max on this actual grip. So I had got the 315 the other day when I added the floor press back in raw, because again I need to get these back up, which we know my best bench recently was 352 with a buffalo bar on a close grip, and I did 345 with a straight bar on a close grip. So the floor press though with this wider grip is very, very hard for me. So we need to work on getting it up, and I've been doing it with chains and the other bars. I'm like, let me rotate in and see if I can get better, which I did. I jumped up, hit a 320 and left a little bit in the tank. So I'm going to mess with ramping this exercise a bit. So we're going to ramp it. We're going to try to get some small PRs on it pretty frequently, and then do back off work based on percentages, right? And that's the name of the game with all this. And this is keeping with my current trend of working more towards 10s instead of 3s or 5s, which I'm going to do for a little bit, because again I'm at a point where it's not even about the muscle quality difference. It really is about just getting beat up, and that's kind of the benefit to this. And we're still getting the beauty of maxing on 2 lifts every workout, so we're getting a huge amount of intramuscular coordination. Like we're getting all the benefits of really heavy lifting, so we can focus upon easier to recover from stuff. And 10s are real easy to recover from. They just don't beat you up, even at comparable percentages. So, it's why no one cares about RPE. We care about percentages, because we care about effective reps. But I left a little bit in the tank. I probably could have gone heavier, and that's okay. We'll start ramping it up. So I'm happy with it. It gave me some good numbers to program off of. So 320, and we'll build it up. And eventually I'll work into where I might try to do some normal bench press with a wider grip like that coming up here soon. As I continue to get stronger at the incline, I think it'll carry over to that because I'm using the pinkies on the rings. And we got an incline PR. Now, the 2.5 pound jump this time was not as pretty as that 250 the other day, which was a PR, okay, a few days ago. It was a little grindy at the top. A lot of upper chest weakness. So, and I mean, we can call it weakness. I mean, it is weakness because, I mean, I can't bench 300 on the incline. So, at the 45 degree. And we do need to keep in mind that degrees matter. It's a big difference between doing a 30 degree and a 45. Big difference. So again, I'm getting good at finding the groove. I found the bar path for the incline. I figured out how to sync it, how to pause it, and how to just drive, and found my bar path. So we saw that there with the 225. But when I went up to this, the 252.5, when I hit that traditional sticking point for me up at the last third of the lift, it was grindy. That wasn't as grindy on camera as it felt. So some people are going to look at it and be like, well, it's grindy, but it wasn't super grindy. No, it was a max. This was a max for me. And it doesn't matter that I came off the chest fast. I do that. I've done that on close grip benches that I've missed the lift completely. I've come off the chest that fast. I've got big lats. So, and I really felt the chest. So people who might say, hey, was that tricep? No, I don't feel my triceps on the incline, really, not today. It felt like all chest, like my chest was screaming at me. It did not want to lock out that weight. And keep in mind, chest can be part of a missed lockout, by the way, on pressing. Some people are not aware of that. So then we ran at 70%. It's actually a pound over because it was just easier. Like I didn't want to micro load up to 224. So I just went up to the 225. Got my 3 sets of 10 on the floor press. Reasonably challenging. I felt like with each one, possibly a rep in reserve, which is good because that means that I did not probably hit a true max. Okay. I mean, it was a good training max, but I probably left a little bit in the tank. And the fact that I got these 10s relatively easy, and I'm not saying they were easy as in, oh, I could have done like 5 more reps. No, I felt like I maybe had a rep left. But again, we don't care about that. We work off percentages because what's our goal? If we program off the right percentages off of a conservative max, we still get strong enough to PR. Self-correcting. It is self-correcting. So again, good work on these, and they were challenging sets because again, if we're in that range, even if let's say I sandbag 5 pounds, right? Let's say I could have gotten 5 pounds more on that lift, maybe even up to 10. Well, we're still getting into the effective rep zone on these, so they should be hard even at 10, right? Because I mean, again, even if 10 more pounds, it's only 7 pounds difference for sets of 10. Okay? That's maybe 1 rep difference in terms of a rep max. So again, based upon the feel of this, I think I guessed it pretty right. I think I left 5 pounds in the tank, but that'll go up pretty quick. That'll go up pretty quick because again, we'll do this rep work. We'll build up off of it, work weak points, and try to see if we can just micro load it up. But I need more of the straight bar work, and I want to do more chains, and I'll do more chains coming up. But I think where I'll focus more on more chains is when I get over to where I'm doing stuff like three classic type lifts with the barbell, right? When we're doing flat bench with a nice good size grip width, not my close grip like I normally do, like I'm doing here, pinkies on the rings. Same thing with the incline, and then maybe if I work in some close grip, which I've tried to do today, and it didn't go as well as I would have liked. I was just so fatigued after these other work sets. But we should be, because we did we did floor press and incline, both for 3 sets of 10 at 70%. That's extremely fatiguing. My chest was completely done. My front delts were done. Like, they didn't really want to do much else. I had some tricep left. And I did feel some good tricep activation on this floor pressing. Right, I did feel some, but not anywhere near as much as I felt chest. And the incline, it's like I felt shoulder definitely, but it was very, very, very chest dominant. And on these, I'm trying to pause on each one. So you guys will notice I'm really taking this incline serious. I paused on the maxes, pausing on the rep work, right? Trying to drive and explode. Floor press is a little different. People are like, why aren't you pausing on the floor press? Because when you pause hard on the floor press for multiple reps, or you try to pause for a long time. I've had my lifters come over and they try to floor press and pause 2 seconds, and then they wonder why they miss a PR. Floor press, you lose your tightness. The whole point of the floor press is that you have to stay ultra tight and you can't use leg drive. Okay, it means you have to force the pecs to contract hard out of the bottom without them ever getting loose. One of the reasons it's so effective, right? Particularly if you're getting your chest stronger near the bottom of the bench. And even the midpoint of the bench, because it forces you to use the chest so effectively. But pausing on it doesn't work too well. It can be problematic, and I know some people don't feel that way, but I notice with a lot of my guys, and for me it is. Maybe if you have really massive thick forearms and an amazing grip strength, maybe it would be a little bit different. But for me, it's very hard to stay tight, and I see the same thing with my lifters. But the incline, we got all the reps. We got the 7x10 at 70% of that grindy PR. Okay, so that's good. Very, very good. Happy to see that. And they were all paused. So all 30 of these reps are paused. And look at those. Some of them I'm really taking those pauses out, especially the last reps, right? I'm trying to make it hard. I'm trying to really put that work in. I'm trying to get that stretch on the chest. I've got to blow my chest up, right? We need the chest to come up. We need the tricep to come up to get that bench. And I really need that whole upper half of the chest bigger. And this will do it. I mean, working at percentages that are based on your maxes, trying to get small max PRs all the time on a lift like this, and then again being strict, controlled, and powerful on your rep work that is programmed off of the maxes as percentages, that is a surefire way to bring up an area and to bring up a lift. Works very effectively. And it's simple, right? It's simple as long as you understand how to program your percentages and volume. But what I will say, this left me so tired that another press was very difficult to do because this was challenging. Like these last reps each time were hard, especially this one, I think right there, not quite. When I get to this last rep, it's grindy at that lockout. Grindy. It was not easy to do. So I was pretty well shot because I hit the two training maxes. One of them was a grindy PR, and then 6 sets of 10 with near limit sets. My chest was done. So I decided I was going to try to do some close grip, and it didn't go that well. I'm like 235, considering my max close grip is 245, probably 345, right, with this bar. I think I can get 10 reps. I got 6. And I felt tricep because my chest was done. My chest had just given out. So as I'm doing these, it was so tricep dominant. And I want to make that clear. When I max on a close grip, I rarely feel my triceps. But these, my triceps were lit. And I think this is an interesting thing here. What's fascinating with this? Well, I've been doing the JM press just to get that heavier tricep work in. Won't the close grip do that too? It will, especially if my chest is too fatigued to really do its job. Now, we could argue from a hypertrophy perspective, this is getting into junk volume. Why? Because I should have been able to do 10 reps easily with that weight. Okay? Based upon my most recent maxes when I was doing the close grip, I should have been able to do sets of 10. I couldn't. Therefore, from a total training perspective, it's junk volume. Very, very, very little muscle growth from that. We are drifting into junk volume here because, again, my workloads are getting high. So I've got to work on that work capacity here on pressing. But I felt so much tricep. Because the chest was fatigued, it made my triceps have to actually do the work. And my triceps got actually a really good pump. They got a really good pump from doing these. Even this 225 for 8, right? My triceps were pumped. So we know, and I'm having to like flex them there. It's like, oh yeah, that was just as intense as the heavy JM presses for the triceps. And I think that might be the key to making this work. I can't treat it like a primary exercise. It's not going to program correctly all percentages. In other words, it's not going to be doing anything for my chest and stuff. But it is going to be heavy work for those triceps. And then I'm doing band work pretty frequently. I've already did 3 sets of band press downs before I got to these voiceovers while I was eating. In between food, I ran over and did some high rep sets to failure. And I've been doing them on at least my 4 training days this last week because I need the extra tricep work. I need to keep the tendon health up because I am doing just these big movements. So something I'll continue to do, try to get a decent number of band press downs throughout the week. And I don't do them the day before I press ever so that I get some recovery in. And that should help keep those triceps coming up, should help keep the tendons healthy, and then I can focus on just all this heavy pressing. So again, I think that will help bridge the gap there because I'm not doing any real tricep specific stuff. I mean, the close grip we could argue there, the dips we could argue the last workout, but it may not be quite enough workload for the tris. So the band work though, and band work's easy to recover from. You can do a lot of it. So then I went up 5 pounds on these chest supported rows. I went up 5 pounds. And it's hard to get a good position where I can get the range of motion that I want. And that's okay because we get a longer range of motion on the inverted rows. Okay. This I'm just trying to very strictly move a lot of weight, build my lats, mid traps, low traps, all that. And it's working. I feel those areas lit up very, very hard. I need to bring them up. And it's a different angle. And like I said, I can't go higher on the thing because people are like, why don't you just go to the next notch up? I can't reach the bar. So if I take the incline to the next notch, I physically cannot get to the bar. So because there's several inches gap between, it's just too far. Like I almost need a notch in between. So what I try to do on some of these, I get as high up on the bench as I can so that it brings me up a little bit higher to bridge that gap. But, it's not necessarily the best range of motion out of the bottom, but we get that with the inverted row, and that's okay. What this is doing is even though the bottom's being missed a bit, I'm having to strictly row using my lats and mid traps and squeeze them at the top, and that's going to carry over to my deadlifting. And again, we get that scapular retraction training there. And I'm going to keep going heavier. I'm going to keep trying to add weight to this. I mean, it was challenging today. It was definitely challenging. But I'll see if I can go up another 5 next time. So then today, I only did 3 sets of the inverted rows because I put a plate on my chest and using the belt to hold it in place. The belt is great for that. Honestly, I still got my 15s. So I did 5 by 15 with body weight with this setup last time. And I'm like, well, I need to add weight, but I still got 15s. So that 10 pounds doesn't make a big difference in the grand scheme of things. And it's higher up. So it should be contributing significantly, but not really. I guess I need to go to a 25. But because I did increase the total tension and I still got 15s, I'm like, let me just do 3 sets today. They were good quality sets. I felt an enormous amount of shoulder, rear delt, my rotator cuffs, a lot of stuff crackled on these today, which good. It feels good because I need to work those areas. And it's, again, dealing with that shoulder inflammation. I need movements that move that shoulder joint and take it through a healthy range of motion and build all the stabilizing muscles. And this is actually pretty much my shoulder movement. A lot of people will say, well, how is that possible? You're not getting side delt. Yeah, I am. Look at the data. A lot of shoulder exercises that are for side delts get about the same activation an inverted row does on the side delt. It's a phenomenal rear delt, especially with that wide grip. It's a good lat exercise, good mid trap, lower trap, all that. But it actually does work the shoulder girdle pretty dang effectively. And so if I'm getting a decent amount of volume on these and getting progressively better at them, I am getting some side delt work. I certainly feel that area. And it doesn't mean I can't come in to do some face pulls and stuff. But for now, I've noticed that anything that ends up being a true side delt exercise just aggravates my shoulder, including even my hang pulls and stuff. So why aggravate it? It can still grow from all this. And again, a side note, as I pointed out, there are some coaches out there, and people forget that because they're not well read enough. There are some very good coaches, even bodybuilding coaches, who don't believe in training the side delt directly. They believe that chest presses and rowing can build the side delt as much as you need it to go. Point of major contention, and I'm not saying I fully am on board with that, but I think specifically when we pick a row like this that does work that side head, I think we're probably okay, especially with the incline work with it also. We're getting a decent amount of overlap. But again, these felt good today, and it was just interesting that even with the extra weight, because again, it's not using even your full body weight, so 10 pounds should be significant. Got the same reps, which means either it doesn't matter that much, or it means I probably got stronger still, and I'm going to bet I got stronger. So, we'll keep working with it. I'll try next time with a heavier plate. I might need to just put a 25 on there. All right, might just need to put a 25 on my chest, and I'm sure that will make it considerably more difficult. But then, because we only did 6 total sets of rows, curls were easier. So I took these to failure, and I got more reps on these incline curls than I got last time. I got more reps. And again, just taking these to failure at the end, making sure my biceps are getting a good stretch position movement. Because we could argue, like, oh man, that one row, not getting a good bicep stretch because of the range of motion limitations. And exactly, but we're getting a stretch here. Biceps are still getting worked on it. And again, why the incline curl? Because I've done a lot of strict curling recently, done cheat curls recently. The incline is a good exercise because of the stretch reflex and the stretch position it puts those biceps in. It can be potentially injury resistant for deadlifts, right? For those of us who choose to mix grip deadlift, which is going to be the majority, it's a good exercise for helping with that injury prevention. Building your lats up helps. Building your grip up helps. Even the rowing helps. If you get really strong at rows, it's actually harder to tear a bicep. This is just kind of a little bit of extra insurance, a little bit extra arm, because I could stand to have some more bicep. If I'm not going to trim down and get lean, because I don't care about that, it probably would still behoove me to add some more bicep. Even though triceps are a much, much, much larger priority for me as a strength athlete, adding some bicep probably won't hurt as far as people saying, oh, you don't look like you lift or whatever. It's ridiculous. I squat 600 pounds. I squat 600 pounds in my 40s. What more do you guys want? But, I feel like the incline curls can fit the bill here. And I ended up getting more reps, I think, on every set than I got last time. Again, biceps may be getting stronger on the movement, or it could just be the fact that I only did 6 total sets of rows instead of 8. Because again, I added that weight this time. But either way, we'll count progress as progress there. And since I'm taking them to failure, that's what I have to work with. But overall, happy with the workout, especially happy with the inclining. I wish the close grip would have been a little better, but the fatigue levels reached that point. But it's still a good tricep exercise, even though it's not a good overall developer there. So I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.